and students alike to stand firmly for the right which exists in this country of peaceful dissent, and just as strongly against the resort to violence as a means of such expression. End of the direct quotation of the White House statement issued in the name of the President. White House News Secretary Ronald Ziegler followed it by saying, "I'd like to have it clearly understood that the President supports peaceful dissent and opposes violence." The White House says that a Justice Department investigation probably will be made. Dan Rather, CBS News, the White House.
Most campuses around the country were quiet today, but at the University of Maryland, students briefly blocked a main highway running by the school, and several hundred student and faculty members boycotted classes at Stanford University in California. Leaders of the relatively moderate National Student Association, which claims membership on more than 500 college campuses, called for a nationwide student strike beginning tomorrow to protest the American presence in Cambodia. The NSA President, Charles Palmer, called the Kent State situation appalling, but put much of the blame on provocation by the federal and state administrations.
This is the new Firestone Super Belt tire. There's one way to prove how strong this tire is. Run it. Run it night and day. Run it at turnpike speeds. Run it 1,200 miles a day around the clock. Firestone Super Belt. Double belted for impact resistance. Double belted for handling. Double belted for mileage. We rotated the Super Belts every 5,000 miles, kept the front ends aligned, and kept the recommended air pressure, what any sensible driver would do to get maximum tire mileage. And ran them. Long after most ordinary bias ply tires would be through, Super Belt has plenty left. Smooth riding, but tough. The double belting does it. 50,000. Take a good close look. 50,000 miles and still running because it's double belted. Super Belt by Firestone, the mileage specialist.
Ever since President Nixon announced the Allied drive into Cambodia, a major question is centered on the reaction of the two communist giants, Russia and China. Today, both responded with sharply worded warnings to Washington, but neither gave any clear-cut indication of possible military involvement. Peking called the Cambodian operation a mad provocation against China and the peoples of Southeast Asia, and it pledged to support the communists in the war zones with all its forces. That official statement was issued about the same time that Soviet Premier Kosygin called a rare Moscow news conference to blast the Nixon administration. Among other things, he hinted that Russia's prepared to give more military aid to communist insurgents in Indochina. And in repeated and direct references to President Nixon, he said the Cambodian action could jeopardize efforts to resolve critical East-West issues. CBS News White House correspondent Dan Rather reports that President Nixon's advisors are telling him that the communists may soon break off the Paris peace talks as a result of the new Allied military operations. But their feeling is that Hanoi will sit down to serious negotiations once they realize the president is going to stick to his tough new policy on Indochina. Defense Secretary Laird has announced that those new series of airstrikes against North Vietnam have been completed, but he said the raids would be